Hi guys and welcome. So we are going to go ahead and make an example using this mix up mash up sweet combination. If you remember, let me pull out my catalog. This set is sweet is really supposed to be the beautiful motifs with the gallery blooms, but I did not buy the beautiful motifs. I instead I'm using Wonderful Thoughts, which is a returning, let me show you where that is. It's a returning sweet well, it's not a bundle anymore. You have to buy it separately on page 101 of the annual catalog. All right, so let's go ahead and let's create something with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let me put this off to the side here. I'm going to take some basic white. Let me let my camera catch up. I don't know why it's not doing that autofocus. Anyway, so let's make a 3x3. Oh wait, let's start off doing a 4x5 and a 4th. This is a 4x12 piece. So here you have your 4x5 and a 4th. Then we're going to do our 3x3. And then we're going to do 1 3/4 by 3. Okay, so now this next part, you could either use glue dots, you could use removable tape. I personally like using my multi-purpose glue. I'm just going to do a couple little dots and I'm going to kind of push it around because I don't want this, and I'm going to let it sit for a second because I don't want this to be glued down. I just want this to be sticky. And so that's what happens with the multi-purpose glue. If you let it sit for a while, it becomes tacky and it's not going to be a permanent adhesion. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and make our layers for this. So I'm going to go 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then I'm going to do 2 by 3 1/4. All right, so these are going to be my layers. Let me put those over here because we're not going to use them right now. All right, so now I think I've left this alone long enough. And I can see that it's just barely tacky. So it's not going to be that permanent adhesion. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to put this right in the corner so I get it straight. And then I'm going to put this down right about there. Hoping that's somewhat straight. So yeah, so that's why you want it tacky on the bottom and not in full strength, because we're going to be removing this. All right, I'm going to take this little swag from the Gallery Blooms. Oh, wait. First, I want to stamp my greeting on my greeting layer. So let's go ahead and hopefully we get a good inking. There we go. Doesn't look bad. Might be a little crooked. Never know. Okay, so there is on my greeting layer. So now let's go ahead and take this. And I'm going to go around it. And I'm going to push somewhat hard. Now you're going to have a little bit of ghosting effect, but that's going to be okay because that's going to be covered up with our layers. This is Petunia Pop. Oh, darn it. Should have gone straight down with glass. Let me get that lined up. See if I can make that a little bit better. I forgot to push right in the middle there. All right, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I have another example you'll be able to see. But you kind of really want to make sure you push down so you get, oh my gosh. I think maybe because I'm standing up. Because I had no problem making my example. All right, there we go. Let me go like this. Again, we're not worried about that because that's going to be covered up mostly by the layers. And then let me do a little bit right there in the corner, and that's not going over any layers. All right. Go ahead and take those off. See how fast those come off like that? Then we're going to go ahead. Let me grab my green glue that's in my fine tip adapter. Keeping this the same direction. Let's go ahead and do this. Oh, I must have something on my, I do. All right, there. See how I got that in there? I'll put a rhinestone there. You won't even notice it. All right, let's go ahead and bring this over here. We're gonna line that up as best as we can. That looks pretty good there. Let me get the in colors. Oh, that's this year's. I want this one. I want last year's. So there's that petunia pop right there. Go ahead and cover that up. So I'm going to put one right over that boo-boo. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to put one right down here. All right. Yeah, so remember we have the in-flat pearls in both the 2024 through 2026 and the 2025 through the 2027. Goodness. All right. Just back up there. Let me grab my card base here. This is 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to score it at 5 1/2. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this down. And there you are. There's our example using the mashup between Gallery Blooms and Wonderful Thoughts. All right, let me show you a couple of examples. Here was the tester I did. That one turned out a little bit better. I was sitting down when I did that one. So there's that one. But let's go ahead. Here I used the frame from That Beautiful Gallery and did parts of the frame falling off of the card. You will see that example also in the annual catalog. There's an example not with the same colors and stamps, because I use the designer series paper to fill in, but you get the gist. And they, I don't think, filled in theirs. And then this one, I got a little crazy. Use that frame. Forgot to drag my stamp pad across that to make it look like a wooden frame, so you can see how this frame doesn't have any colors down there. But then cut this out to represent or make it look like, ooh, I have a little bit of a pop dot showing up underneath there. Like that. Sorry. Oh, now it's showing up there. Anyway, cut the designer series paper to look like it's a windowsill. Added a bunch of those die cuts from both the Gallery Blooms, so these, and this one from the Wonderful Thoughts. All right, so there you have it, guys. What do you think of that? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up, because that helps. I don't use my YouTube videos to sell you stuff. Even though I have card kits and I have classes and all that, I do this just to show you simple stamping. So if you give me a thumbs up, that's going to take the algorithm and it will allow other stampers to see these techniques and these examples to help them with their stamping journey. All right, have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.